Let's start. Unit 27. Number 1. Suppose we know that Paula suffers from a severe phobia. Paula. If we reason that Paula is afraid either of snakes or spiders, and then establish that she is not afraid of snakes, we will conclude that Paula is afraid of spiders. Paula. However, our conclusion is reasonable only if Paula's fear really does concern either snakes or spiders. Paula. If we know only that Paula has a phobia, then the fact that she's not afraid of snakes is entirely consistent with her being afraid of heights, water, dogs, or the number 13. Paula. 1-3. More generally, when we are presented with a list of alternative explanations for some phenomenon, and are then persuaded that all but one of those explanations are unsatisfactory, we should pause to reflect. Before conceding that the remaining explanation is the correct one, consider whether other plausible options are being ignored or overlooked. The fallacy of false choice misleads when we're insufficiently attentive to an important hidden assumption, that the choices which have been made explicit exhaust the sensible alternatives. Unit 27. Number 2. Intellectual humility is admitting you are human and there are limits to the knowledge you have. It involves recognizing that you possess cognitive and personal biases, and that your brain tends to see things in such a way that your opinions and viewpoints are favored above others. It is being willing to work to overcome those biases in order to be more objective and make informed decisions. People who display intellectual humility are more likely to be receptive to learning from others who think differently than they do. They tend to be well liked and respected by others because they make it clear that they value what other people bring to the table. Intellectually humble people want to learn more and are open to finding information from a variety of sources. They are not interested in trying to appear or feel superior to others. Unit 27 Exercises. Number 01. Countries vary regarding how much stimulation their citizens are exposed to. One study indicated that the Dutch keep their infants calmer than Americans, who generally expose their babies to more stimulation. In India, children are brought up with a great deal of stimulation, making it challenging for a highly sensitive person. However, even sensitive people in India become more habituated to hearing continuous noise. I interviewed a highly sensitive man from India who had lived in the United States for 5 years. 5. Ramesh reported that the longer he stayed in America, the more acculturated he became to the comparatively quiet atmosphere, and it was difficult for him when he visited India. Ramesh. However, since he was raised in an extremely noisy environment, he told me that he eventually adapted to the overstimulation of his native country, and after some time the excessive noise didn't bother him so much. Unit 27. Number 02. While historically exclusive, tightly connected communities were thought to be beneficial, though there are some theorists that argue the disadvantages of such tight bonds. Indeed, social capital can, and often does, cut both ways. While it can reinforce belonging and community, it can just as easily shut out newcomers, raise barriers to entry, and retard innovation. Adam Smith long ago noted this dilemma in his Wealth of Nations, criticizing merchants who formed tightly knit cliques for precisely such reasons. Adam Smith. Mancur Olson later applied much the same thinking to show how tightly knit communities can isolate themselves from outside pressure and sow the seeds of their own death. Mancur Olson. Or, as Ports and Landau put it, the same strong ties that help members of a group often enable it to exclude outsiders. Portes Landau. The end. Good job.